We have another guest with us today. We have Kimberly.
Hello.
Talk about being a black educator.
Hmm. Interesting. Being a black educator is beautiful. It is rewarding. It is something that I enjoy. It was hard starting off as a student teacher. I went to a school with predominantly white teachers, and they didn't want to have anything to do with me. They didn't want to sit by me. So that was kind of hard. But now that I teach at a predominantly black school where the population of the kids are black. Our staff is mostly black. It's rewarding, but it can be challenging.
So it was a problem when you was first coming up in school, like in college and stuff.
Yes, it was one school I was interning at, and my supervising teacher was white, really sweet. I mean, taught me everything. I was in first grade, but it was time to go to lunch, and we sat in the teachers' lounge, and the other white teachers, like I came in before my mentoring teacher came in, and I sat down. They got up, like just got up, and I was like, well, okay, you know me, I'm fresh, in the school. So my mentoring teacher came in and introduced me. Hey, this is my student teacher or whatever. And the other teachers was like, okay. But every day after that, they sat at another table. They wouldn't want to sit by me. They stopped talking to her because she sat by me. And I just wondered why.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, they didn't even know me. They didn't know anything about me. They didn't know my teaching style. They just didn't want to sit by me.
That's crazy. What year was this?
Oh, ooh. Now I've been teaching for 10 years, which is 2019. So this had to be this had to be '07.
Oh, 07?
2007.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Even as a teacher, like these are the people who teaching the kids. What was the demographic of the school that you was in?
Mostly white.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how did that feel versus how you feel now being in a predominantly black school?
I mean, the feel is different. Like the students in my class never mistreated me or anything. It was the educators that would kind of like shock me because the kids, most of the times, kids don't really see color unless they're taught that. So they just want to know what information they can get from you and learn from you. But now it's still challenging no matter if you're black, white, Hispanic going into education because of the climate or the culture of education. Most teachers, when they see new teachers, like they'll say, like you say, new blood, they're intimidated because new teachers bring something fresh.
So you intimidate the other teachers, or are they just intimidated because you're new, or they give you a chance? Or
veteran teachers can be intimidated by novice teachers, even though these teachers are coming in. Of course, they're coming in from school with newer information. Like education evolves, so like different strategies, different techniques. New teachers come in with these different things, like even with technology, new information with technology websites, and some veteran teachers do get intimidated, or if they see a new teacher come in and they're working hard, they're succeeding. Not all veteran teachers, but I have had experience where veteran teachers didn't like me because of how I worked. It was nothing against me, didn't know me. They just didn't, they didn't rock with me.
So, being a teacher, like, I know you're familiar with the whole thing that happened in Houston when they banned or gave the parents a wardrobe. How do you feel about that? When they gave the parents
wardrobe to come to school?
Yeah, like they can't come in a dress code to say. They gave the parents a dress code and they wasn't allowed to wear bonnets and nightwear, like pajamas. Is that a problem that's in your school?
Well, currently we don't have a parent dress code. I can see where it's needed. Like I can be the devil's advocate to this too. Like I see the parent side and I see the school side. You do see parents come in with very inappropriate attire. I mean, parents come in with shorts so short. I mean, shirts you can see their bras. Like you don't want especially in elementary. These little kids, they looking, you know, they're learning from adults surrounding them. Even though their parent is only in there for 2 to 3 minutes, they saw it. And what do you think is gonna stick in their head when they saw this lady with a bra out? You know.
Yeah.
So I can see the pros and the cons. I can see the parent side. I can see the school side. I just say self-love, like self-respect. Like, don't go anywhere that you don't want to be recognized. Like, I'm all about your self-image. Like, when I come to you, I'm gonna present the best me. So I'm not gonna go to a school and with a bonnet on. You know, that's just because my mom, she was just like that. But I can see why schools don't want that.
But it also brings like parents or the bullying aspect of it, where kids will see the parents dressed a certain way and then pick on the kid, and then that'll cause another problem in the school. Not
absolutely. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a bonnet. It could just be how your parent present his or herself. You know, I say just put your best foot forward. I'm not saying come in Gucci and Louis, but don't come like with like, I mean, you will be amazed at how some parents come and greet a teacher or meet a teacher or discuss any issues with the teacher. And you know, I look past that. I'm all about humanity. I treat everybody the same. But I mean, you see it and you're like, okay, no wonder the child acts the way they act. What you should. I mean, it's been, you know, that's being biased, but it happens. I can see. And my thing is, on the parent side, you never know what that parent is going through.
Yeah.
What if that parent, it was just a one-time thing? He or she was just going through that night. All they wanted to do was get their baby in school. I understand that. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I said it's on a basis type of thing. Like if they're doing it just once, that's probably rushed. But if they're doing that all the time, yeah, I can see you saying.
So then it'll need to be addressed if it's happening all the time.
Yeah.
So what else is it that you wanted to talk about?
Well, I mean, it's a lot about education. I think because I'm in my 10th year, they always say you in those around your between your 5th and 10th year, it's the critical years, because it's like you get kind of tired of education, of the challenges that education brings. But one thing I did want to talk about was the little boy. I think it was a pre-K graduation.
Yeah.
And he spoke out and was like telling the teacher to shut up and call her out her name. And you know, the comments up under the video, well, some videos that have been shared across the nation, was like, oh, he's bad, he needs a whooping. And I wanted to say, you guys don't know how frequent that happens. You guys are saying this once.
So it happened a lot? Do it happen to you?
It has happened to me. It has. I've been kicked. I've been, books been thrown at me. My computer has been thrown at me. I've been scratched. It happens, like, it's more frequently than you think. And this was my early part of education, like when I was like a novice teacher and I didn't know those different techniques for those different behavior groups and stuff. So, I mean, it happens more frequently. It happened so much in my school last year. Like, I can just, it happened.
To other teachers? To
other teachers that I know.
Wow.
And it's, and I looked at it like, okay, what can we do as a community to help this little boy? Because you got to remember, he's a baby. It's something wrong with him, you know. So it's not like it's either he's learning it from school or he has a chemical imbalance that he really can't help it. And you can see the teacher's reaction. She's used to it. Like, that wasn't the first time.
Yeah, she was pretty calm in that video.
Recorded.
Yeah.
So this little boy's probably been calling her out her name every single day. And that's not what they tell you when you go to school.
So as a community, what can the community do to help teachers?
I say start with the parent. Educating the parent on if your child has a chemical imbalance or any behavioral disorder, just get educated on it. Get educated on how to be a parent for that child, because that child needs different parenting techniques.
So seeing that video, do you think that kid suffered with Tourette's, or you just think he was acting out?
I mean, I just think he was acting himself. That was normal. You can tell the kids didn't even react to it.
Yeah, that was
The
odd.
teachers did not. It was the adults that were there, probably their first time experiencing that react to it. So I don't want to clinically diagnose him because I don't know his whole profile. But all I know is that is normal. That's the normal climate or atmosphere for that teacher and those kids, which is really sad because you don't send your child to school to experience that. I personally did not experience a student ever disrespecting a teacher in that way. We disrespected our teacher. The most we did was smack our lips. But to call her out her name or to tell the teacher to shut up, that is unseen. And I always tell people, it was a culture shock becoming a teacher. I never knew these things ever existed because when I was in school, I didn't experience these things.
So tell us about, like, when you were in school, what demographic of school did you go to?
Elementary, mostly black. Middle school, mostly black, but high school was very diverse. So a lot of our teachers didn't take mess. It was just we had our fights and all that stuff, but most of our teachers were well respected. We respect our teachers. We may talk about them behind their back, but calling out their names, I didn't experience a chair being thrown in the classroom. I didn't experience a door being shut multiple times outside the door. I didn't experience a student hitting a teacher. I didn't experience that, but this is the reality of teachers, educators, what we face in America. I can't even say in one state, it's what we face in America. It's challenging. Like, people don't really know that part of education. They just see numbers or they put a grade on our classrooms or our schools or our counties, but they don't see the background of this really happens day to day.
So growing up, the demographic of school we went to, we were bused out of our community from a black community. We grew up in a black community. We was bused to a white neighborhood in the school. So all the black kids in the school came off the bus from our neighborhood. So, like, I see a lot of people who from Atlanta, and there's not a lot of people from Atlanta in Atlanta, but a lot of people from Atlanta went to predominantly black schools. I don't know how that feels. All my life, we've been bused. We've been bused in elementary, we was bused in middle school, and we was bused in high school. And then I went to a predominantly black college.
Right.
So I never experienced all black school until college.
I mean, I wouldn't even say it happens in predominantly black schools. It just happened in schools, period. Like, the behavior issues it's so prevalent these days. It's scary. I don't know how much more teachers can take it. And if you look at statistics, like, that's why we need so many teachers. If you look at graduating classes in universities, they're getting less and less more educating majors. Like, people are not even trying to get into education because, like, if you talk to a teacher an educator like me, that's going to really tell you, hey, don't get into this if this is not a dream of yours. If you wasn't 5 years old, swinging on the swing, saying, oh, I want to be a teacher, and that is in your heart's desire, I will not get into it. Don't think about the summer breaks or the frequent breaks. It is, I mean, honestly, it's not worth it.
So, all right. First, you said the first thing was the parents. When we said, as a community, what can we do to make this situation better or make it better for teachers? I know what second would be the pay of the teachers.
Well, I say support. Just support. I say what we can do to help the younger generation is educate our parents, help them understand that even if they don't know, there's so many programs out there that will help and assist them. If you have a child that is ADHD, ADD, autistic, even if you just need help, you as a parent, you need like parenting skills. There are so many resources out there for you. If you need tutoring, if you need mentoring for your child because they don't have a father at home, it's so much stuff that you can get for that. So educating the parents. Another thing that can help teachers is pay. And then I would say support, meaning it's a lot of times when I meet people and they know I'm an educator and they just start talking or they see me in the store and they're like, are you an educator? And my buggy is full of supplies. And they're like, well, you guys really pay for your supplies? Yes, we do. Some schools are not fortunate to have a bukus of money for supplies, but you're going to need it in order to give your students the best education you can. So just support from that, support from different areas like behavior specialists. Class sizes are getting bigger. That's one thing. Like we're drained. We're it's to the point where you give your students all your energy, and if you have kids, you going home. You gotta remember, you gotta sit down and do homework with your child, but you're so drained because you've been in class with 36 people. I mean, not even 36 people, 36 little people or kids or students, and 10 of them are behavior issues. Yeah. 10 of them are just giving you the business every day. So you get drained. So I would say educate our parents, because once you educate the parents are going to educate their kids. Pay. We don't get paid as much as we should. I hope it changed, but I don't see it changing anytime soon. Support, and then just helping our students know that this is just their nowness. Some students just see I'm in school and this is it, and that's why some of them act out. A lot of our kids don't have hope. They don't have dreams. They don't know that it is so many opportunities that out here or careers that they can do that they're not even exposed to. And I think that giving kids hope will kind of help us too. Some kids, they disrespect you because they're getting disrespected.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I was thinking about a topic like rap or go to the league. It's like most of the kids see that's their only way out is rap or be an entertainer or play sports. It's like growing up now, I feel like they have way more opportunities than we did.
It's so many because technology. Hard. Like it's so many careers in just technology. It's so many more careers than when we were growing up. So yeah.
But it's hard to get other kids to see that. Even my own child, getting him to see like you should be doing more. Yeah. Like what you're doing now is not enough. You should be doing more. You should be trying harder. You should be applying yourself. It's more you could be doing right now. You don't have to wait until it's older. But how do the curriculum like push that on the kids?
The curriculum. Oh, sorry. I know that most counties and states and school systems are gearing toward career and readiness. That's one thing. Just exposing kids to different careers. I know I teach first grade, but my kids, if you ask them what entrepreneurship is, they know. So even though they're 6 and 7 years old, I'm trying to put in them that, hey, you can own your own business. Some kids don't know that. I didn't know that. So it's just helping them understand and giving them opportunities to explore different things so they can see different careers. Career Day is big, making sure they see different people in their same skin. Yeah. That's in technology. That's a pilot. That's doing things. The entrepreneurs, they need to see this on a day-to-day basis. That's why most of the times when I'm introducing a concept, I give them like a STEM career that, hey, did you know that this is actually a career? People, when we was talking about plants, I was telling them that people really go and design different gardens. And I showed them the botanical garden. He was like, oh my God, they really do that? Yes. These babies didn't even know that was a possibility, that they can do that. So I just say expose them, like tell them all the careers that are out there, ask them what are their passions, what are their gifts, and then just start cultivating them that way.
But, okay, you as a teacher, you implement these things, but as a curriculum, are these things implemented in your student plans for all teachers to be doing this?
It is for like science because that's most schools are going toward STEM. So in our science curriculum, we have STEM kids that teaches them about different STEM careers. So yes, in our curriculum, I just take it a step further to
STEM?
give them. Huh?
It's STEM.
No,
Oh, okay.
STEM is universal.
But I'll take that part.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Most some people are like, what is STEM? STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math.
Oh, okay.
So that's being the push now, which is you've been doing it all along. It's just they put a name on it.
Yeah.
Basically, most counties, you have STEM certified schools. Most counties are trying to be STEM. States, STEM is universal. Like it's around.
So, being a teacher, what's the other? I know you deal with behavior problems, but what are some of the other obstacles that be in your way that maybe the community could give you a hand with, or maybe a congressman or the government or anyone could step in and help?
Well, I know years ago it was the freedom, the flexibility to teach what we know our students need versus what the curriculum says. Because what most parents don't know, and this is what I explain to my parents, I show them all these standards we're supposed to teach these little people. Their brains are not that big to learn all of these standards. So we just need the flexibility to say, hey, let's go ahead and let them master these standards. And if I've been doing research, most countries don't give their kids as many standards as the United States. And that's what most people don't realize. I know a teacher, she taught in China. She said that the math books were not even half of the math books that we had for our students. And she only saw one math book. We have two math books. So I was like, wow. She was like, we teach in the United States, we teach them so much to where they can't master the skill they will need for the next content area or the next concept. So I say the flexibility to be able to teach our students, our class, the way we need to. But I understand that you still need regulations because some teachers really don't know what to teach. So you need to cultivate certain teachers. But I will tell you this: they are giving us more flexibility. They did start grouping us with like the veteran teachers. If your principal feel like that he or she feels that this teacher doesn't need that many observations. Okay, instead of having 4, now we only have 2. So they are like implementing more flexibility. And I would just say educating parents.
So like I was in the education field too in college. Mm-hmm. So like right now, is the teachers able to teach or they teaching for the test? Because it seemed like I heard that complaint, like teachers nowadays are just teaching kids how to take the test and how to pass the standardized test because that's what the school get a grade on, or that's what. How do you feel being a teacher?
Well, I do not teach in a testing grade, but I teach them like they're in a testing grade.
So you preparing them for the test too?
My babies. I do, but I don't teach toward the test. This is my philosophy. If you teach them and assess them harder than the test is ever going to assess them, that test will be easy. I don't see myself teaching you for an assessment. No, I'm teaching you for mastery. I'm teaching you like I teach first grade. So I'm teaching you concepts. So when you get to multiplication and division, it's easy for you because I've taught you these mathematical concepts that builds you up for multiplication and division. I make connections, real world connections. So I don't really teach for the test. I know a lot of my co-workers and colleagues, we don't really teach toward the test. We just teach the standard. And if the test is covering the standard and your student or your scholar has mastered that standard, they'll be fine for the test. And most of the times, the tests don't even count. And they don't tell you that. Like I know the test for Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, the students took the test, but I don't think it counts this year. But it do count for the school score, which is our CCRPI. I think it does count for that. You know how schools get graded, but I would not have my students or even parents. I wouldn't even have my child so stressed out on the test. Like, just tell them, master the skill. Do you understand? Can you comprehend? What skill did you just go over? And just giving them extra practice. I wouldn't teach toward the test.
But the test is what they evaluated on anyway,
Yeah,
regardless.
but that's just a piece of paper or a computer screen, because now we take them on computer. Just I wouldn't want my students to feel like this defines them. No, that don't define you. Give it your best. You doing your best, what tells me, because at the end of the day, assessments are used to help the educator know what the student needs help with, their deficits and their growth. Like, I can't use that test and say, oh, this child failed. And, okay, so what else can I do to help this child master those standards? Like, the way they use the test, I don't agree with. Like, that's not how they teach us in school.
So, all right, you say it's used for they growth and what they need help in, they deficits and
well,
they growth.
That's what they teach us to use assessments for.
So what? So all the kids with a lower score in English, they'll be placed in the class with more English, or how would that work?
See, it's not done that way. They use these high stake tests for grading the school and the teacher. But what you can't, this is what I want a lot of people to think about. If I'm a third grade teacher, how are you going to grade me on a student who came to my classroom not reading? I'm not the teacher that teaches them to read. But in third grade, I got my student, he took the test, he failed. So now you're a failing teacher. You can't do that. And that's what they do. So that's why most teachers go toward, oh, I'm going to teach toward the test because I don't want to look bad, instead of looking at it holistically. I'm not the teacher that taught him to read. If your baby can't read at the end of first grade, your baby is going to struggle. So you can't really grade a teacher from a student that came to her with deficits, but they do. So that's why most teachers will teach toward the test instead of like giving them the skills they're going to need to just be successful. Math students, successful readers, successful writers, like it's a struggle.
Yeah, it definitely is. But what are some of the things, like being a parent? Like, being a parent don't come with a handbook. Like, what are some of the things that parents could do? I know, for one, having your kid read as early as possible is the best. But what are some other things that parents could do?
I would say, like, knowing before your child get to another grade, knowing the standard, or knowing just the concepts that he or she will need. So then you can take those, you can get a checklist. They're on the internet. And that's why I tell all my parents, I always I would tell the parent to make sure they know what their student needs for the grade that they're going to. You can Google it. You can go to different teacher resource stores like Schoolbox, Lakeshore. Teachers Pay Teachers. I think you can go on there, even if you are a parent, to get different resources. Like, make sure your child is ready for the next grade. And don't always wait for the teacher to cover a content or a standard. If you see your baby is ready for the next step or the next content, you go ahead and you push your child, because when they get in school and the teacher just go over it, it's just reinforcement. So just educating yourself on what your child needs to know. Actually, and I encourage my parents, don't do homework for them. Let them do the homework, and you kind of monitor, oh, are they struggling with this? Because if they're struggling with homework, they're probably struggling with it in class. So just kind of like making sure you know what standard your child is being taught, what standard is coming up next, what concepts and strategies and skills they're going to learn for the whole grade. Not even just that grade, go above. So if you got a first grader, see what they need to know in second grade. And then you just start working with your child at home with that. But if you do that, your child will be more than successful. Because I'm going to tell you this, I teach high potential. So I teach gifted students, and I teach a lot of students who are not gifted but are very, very intelligent. So my parental involvement is way different than my next door neighbor. Like those kids are high potential because those parents did exactly what I told you. Like they went ahead, they know what standards. They went. I was teaching first grade. They was already on second grade stuff. So it's very beneficial if the parent is educated in what the child or student needs to know.
So, okay, so we got parent involvement.
Mm-hmm.
We got pay. We need y'all to raise the pay for our teachers.
Yes,
Our teachers need more pay. We need that money.
Yes, that money.
And exposure. Exposure
Yep.
kids to as much as you can, man. You don't understand how much an impact it'll make just taking them to a museum.
Yes.
Exposing them to as much as they can, as young, as early as they can.
Yes.
You never know, they brains are like sponges. They
Oh.
retain so much. What else you got? What else you want to talk about, or what else? Any questions or anything else you want to get off your chest before we wrap it up?
No, I mean I want everyone to know that education is rewarding. Just stay true to yourself. I always tell my parents I give them a private school education for free because I believe in making sure that my students are well prepared for the next grade. And I tell my parents it's a partnership. It's not all about you. It's not all about me. It's about us. And if we work together, we'll make sure that baby succeed. If you are an inspiring teacher, I say just search your heart and see if that's really what you want to do, because you're going to face some of those challenges that we've talked about. And it may be new challenges because generations change. And hopefully it's going to change for the better and not the worse. But keep us in your prayers. Keep us in your prayers. We are in we are in a fight. To my fellow educators, you guys are the bomb. I love you. We got this. But also know that it's rewarding at the end. It's rewarding at the end. And parents, you guys are awesome. I don't know how you guys do it. You guys are awesome. But if you ever need help, just research. If your school has a parent liaison, that parent liaison knows a lot of information. If you have high school students, go ahead and get them doing those scholarships, write in for scholarships. Hopefully they have graduation coaches. Like, just be involved. Go to those board meetings. Go to PTA meetings. Make sure you know what's going on in your school. So, but yeah.
All right, I got a couple more questions.
Okay,
How about Black History Month? Is Black History Month curriculum only for 1 month, or is it throughout the school year?
Well, I will tell you this. Our social studies standard for the grade that I teach, which is first grade, does incorporate African Americans based on, like, if we're talking about plants. So then we can talk about George Washington Carver. So as a teacher, you have to be kind of crafty in how you can incorporate anything, because it's still exposure. But again, it comes to flexibility, what I was talking about earlier. Like, I know in our standards, it was George Washington. The only African Americans that were in the standard for us to teach was George Washington Carver and Ruby Bridges.
They don't talk about Nat Turner, huh?
No, they don't. Not in the grade that I teach, but it is embedded in our standards. Not as much as we would want them to be, but it is embedded in the standards.
No, okay.
Yeah.
So how have you been enjoying your vacation?
It's well needed. It is well needed. I know I didn't want to do summer school because I was like, I am over it. Like, some years you have there are, and I will tell you this, last year was my best teaching year. I just think as a teacher and my skill and my pedagogy, it was a good year. My students and my parents loved them, but I'm drained because it's like you give your all, and there's so many components go into it, and it's just so much. So I'm enjoying my summer. My goal, and I've been doing good, is to just go on vacation for a week, come back for a week, then go back on vacation for a week, come back for a week, then go back. You know, that's my goal every summer. Like, you have to enjoy your time off. You really, really do.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've been enjoying it.
Well, it's been nice talking to you.
Yes.
You've been a lovely guest.
Well, thank you.
And thanks for taking the time out with us.
All right.